Hey there, everybody. Matt Carter here.
And Jessica Carter from CARTERMATT.com.
This is our AGT Champions reaction for the semifinal show. It is the best of times, and it might also be the worst of times for certain acts as well.
It is the best of times, Marcelino.
It is. It's the best of times for Marcelino. We can all
me
and
Marcelino.
Everybody is celebrating, and keep Coco Vandewolf's even in the video. We're all celebrating Marcelino moving forward, but how do you classify Marcelino and Hans on the same playing field as finalists?
You can't. Marcelino is in a lane of his own. He's so fabulous. I don't know how Hans has gone through, and Danya's not gone through, or Strauss Serpent hasn't gone through, or Ryan has not gone through, but at least Marcelino has gone through, so I'm happy about that.
This is just one of those sort of things where you just have to look at it, and if you like Marcelino, be happy and ignore everything else that is happening around you.
How can you not like him? He's so great. Well, everybody does. We love him.
Yes. Congratulations to Marcelino, and of course, all of the other acts who are moving forward to the next. We got to get to them eventually. There are other acts.
Congratulations, Marcelino, and everybody else.
I was going to list them all out. You got Hans, Sandou Trio Russian Bar, Alexa Lauenberger, Duo Transcend, Tyler Butler Figueroa. They all go through. We're going to break down a lot of this, including where we think the judges and the votes may have gone terribly wrong. Before we do, though, if you like this video, give us a like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any other updates. I thought what would be effective here is we could talk a little bit about the people that went through first, and then talk a little bit about, okay, did these people deserve to go on? I mean, let's do this. One will take 3 seconds. Did Marcelino deserve to go through?
Oh, hands down. Marcelino. Okay, we have to talk about his performance before we talk about anything else, because for me, I mean, anyone who's been watching these videos already knows how I feel about him and how much I love him, but this performance, oh my God. So we had a tiny little snippet before tonight, and it was just a little appetizer of what was the whole performance tonight finally. And it was so good. He hit notes that I don't even know how he's hitting these notes.
No.
It was so good. And it was really great to see the judges also really loving him, and Howie saying, you know, that he feels that Marcelino can win the show. I'm like, yes, Howie, he is going to win the show. I felt it. It was really wonderful, touching performance. Everything about him, I don't know. He's just so likable, and he's got his wife is so cute. They're so adorable, and I love him. I love him.
It's nice to see that Howie is starting to have some better opinions after some of the opinions he had in round one, which were pretty terrible. But Marcelino, he is a favorite to win. He should be a favorite to win. He's extraordinary. I think his voice is outstanding. I think he's so good in both registers that, I said this before, he could be a pro singer with albums as each person. He could almost go and do that, by the way. You know how Stephen King sometimes writes books as Richard Bachman?
Yeah.
He should have an alternate identity and just release albums under that name and see if anybody notices.
And he blends his voices together so smoothly. It's like milk. I can't get over him. I have never heard anybody doing what he does, ever. And these two voices just blend together so smoothly. I'm so happy he went through.
Yeah, I didn't really ever doubt it. I mean, granted, the judges have made crazy decisions before. We've already talking about Hans in this video, but still, Marcelino, this was beyond a shadow of the doubt, deserved to be there. I'm thrilled for him. I'm excited to see what he's going to do in the finale. And who knows, maybe he actually is already doing the Stephen King, Richard Bachman thing, and I don't even know about it. But incredible singer. Very deserving. Let's go to my number 2 on the night is Duo Transcend. Which they saved this to the very end. That almost felt like disrespect in a way that it's like, okay, now this is just by the skin of your teeth, Duo Transcend. You're going to get in over Duo Destiny.
They were so good tonight, and I feel bad now having them like lower or sort of in the middle of my list. We did our rankings a couple days ago of sort of where we thought everyone was, and I thought that the two sort of balancing acts were kind of, gonna equal each other out. But Duo Transcend proved me wrong tonight. They were incredible.
I watched the audition, but I watched this performance before we did the rankings, so I cheated, and that's why I had Duo Transcend so high on my list.
No, I hadn't seen that. They were incredible.
Yeah,
And I love roller skating, and I'm terrible at it. I can't do anything that they did tonight, but it was pretty incredible.
They don't make roller skates in my side. Well, they might, but they're probably custom made and very expensive. I have very big feet. But no, I love the danger. I love that they combined. Because this is the sort of thing. I'll talk about them. I feel like I'm qualified to do this because I am X's biggest fan. So this is a good opportunity to discuss. At times, I think throwing a lot of stuff into a single act can be very, very bad. And I think that's what went wrong with X. I think his best tricks are the ones that are longer and more integrated and more emotionally thought out, and this was just like, I'm gonna do this, then I'm gonna do this, then I'm gonna do this, and there was like no connection to any of them. It felt like out of character, and that's without him. By the way, my quick 30-second rant, X, I don't want to see you as this character talking about how you want to win, because that's not the point of the character. The point of the character is bringing people together and the unity and the hope. So that felt out of character to me. I still love X. Disappointed by tonight. It happens.
I'm still just I know I'm on an island here, but I am lukewarm about him. I've seen him a couple times perform, and nothing has blown me away yet. I wasn't surprised that he didn't go through tonight.
You might not be on an island. I think because people in America didn't see Britain's Got Talent, they might very well agree with you. But Duo Transcend actually an example of they did a couple of different things, and I think because of them they were so visually awesome to behold that I think they really pulled it off.
The danger aspect of that act was wild. Oh my goodness. I was heart pumping. That was crazy.
All right, my number. I really love Sandou Trio, and Sandou Trio moved forward. Here's what you do if you don't know how to make things better. You just add fire to it. It was the same sort of act, basically. They were just like, okay, she's going to hold these like fire torches at one point. Then the bar's going to be on fire at another point.
Yeah, no, they found a way to up it. I wasn't sure how they were going to do it. But yes, add fire to it and it gets way more crazy, way more dangerous. I'm already worried about her falling on her head every second of her act. She and them, the whole trio, they really blow me away.
Okay, so I think we're both probably in agreement that those three for sure should have moved on to the finale.
Absolutely.
No questions there.
Yes.
All right, let's get to the ones that might be a little bit more controversial. Did Alexa deserve to move forward to the finale?
There were some really fun things in that act, and I love dog acts in general. The moment that I was kind of like, okay, yes, I can see why she's going through, is training that one dog to jump hurdles on back legs. That was really cool.
It was, and I liked the theme of it, even if it was kind of like bootleg Scooby-Doo with the mystery machine in the background.
But that's perfectly age appropriate as well, and brought into sort of a story that kind of all makes sense with her age. I really liked all that. It worked as a whole stage performance. It
was fun. It was lighthearted. I love dogs. I have no problem with Alexa moving forward. That didn't necessarily like send my eyes like popping out of my skull with like shock or amazement, but it was fun.
Yeah, there was a couple of parts of the act that she did last time as well, like having the two dogs make a bridge and have a dog jump over them, but the hurdle thing was really cool. I liked it.
So no problem with Alexa moving forward. We're both in agreement once again. All right, Tyler Butler Figueroa. Sure, this is where it gets tough, because then we get to the part where we just feel bad now because we're talking about a kid who's got a really inspirational story.
Yes, and I like his story, and I like him, and I think that he's talented at what he's doing. But if you're going to be in the semifinals for me, and what you're doing is playing the violin, having the singer threw me off. And it sort of was like, well, why is this singer here? Do you need her to like bump up your act? Because I just watched Brian, like, what was it, last week, kill it. Murdered that stage all over. Huge performance, jumping everywhere with this violin, and it was incredible, and didn't need to bring in someone else who's not really part of the competition at all to start singing. So for me, it was actually just the construction of the act. I thought that the beginning of the song, he was doing a beautiful job, and then they brought in the singer, and I was like, who is this? Why are they there? I can't hear him as well anymore. Like, I don't know what's happening. I didn't like it as much.
Yeah, it didn't fully work for me. And that was disappointing in a way, because I thought that he is talented for his age, and I think he's had better performances, but this was kind of distracting once the singer got in there. I couldn't really get immersed into it. I would take Tyler out, and I would probably, and I've kind of gone back and forth on this a little bit in my head already, who would I replace Tyler with? And
well, we all know you'd put X back in there no matter what he did.
I'm not going to put X back in there. This is going to surprise you, because I love X, but I think I've realized I need to let my memories of Britain's Got Talent X kind of speak for themselves. It's not the same now that I know who's behind the mask, apparently. But I'm actually going to go with Danya. I'm going to say Danya should have gone through. I don't think it was that different than what she did the first time, but the thing with the cards and the holes in them was really, really cool.
I thought she was incredible. I was actually really surprised that she didn't go through with that. That particular act, the ripping of the card, ripping it right in half and having it then just be back together again, the picture with the ace in it, I thought that was a really cool act. I already like and know that she's a storyteller, so she was going to come up with a story. I knew that was going to be part of it, but I feel like it was still different enough in how she did it and including them with the picture and everything. Really shocked that she did not go through, disappointed she did not go through. I would have replaced a Tyler or a Hans also with Strauss Serpent, who again was like, started his performance all wrapped up in a box. It was so crazy. I love Contortionist. I love him. I was real disappointed.
Yeah, seeing Strauss Serpent go was sad. Seeing Danya go was sad, especially because Howie basically said that, she moved him in a way where he was almost crying during her performance. So that was really kind of a thing after the fact. I was just thinking, okay, you were so moved by what happened here, and yet Hans. Okay, I'll talk a little about Hans here briefly, because I don't want to just rag on Hans the entire time. It was better than the first show.
Absolutely, yeah. I agree. The first show was the first time I had actually really seen Hans perform, and I've seen other acts like Hans just live and in person, and they were better than him.
Yeah.
This performance was better. I kind of got into it a little bit more. But I think a lot of that came from the fact that I saw the judges getting into it. I saw the audience getting into it, and I was like, okay, there's an energy here with him that clearly people are grooving with, and everybody's like, yeah, like it's a big party going on. So for me, it feels like it's not necessarily about the act. It's about Hans, and it's about how dynamic he is and his charisma to get people excited and smiling and a part of something. But that doesn't mean that I think that it should have gone through. It doesn't feel like that's what this competition is for.
This is going to sound really mean, and I don't mean for it to sound really mean.
Let's hear it.
It's just, I think one of the reasons Hans was better tonight was that the amount of time he was singing was shorter than the first time, because he got all that build up, and then he got to Hans. He's just not a great singer. Hans is a great personality. He's funny. He's dynamic. He's got a really good, interesting character. Like, I think Hans would be perfect as a cabaret show or something that has like audience participation, or maybe like a Hans movie could be pretty fun where he's just like running around and going out and having it. I would watch the Hans movie.
No, but I would go to a Hans performance if it was in a smaller venue where almost like the first time I ever saw the Blue Man Group. If anyone out there has seen the Blue Man Group, then you know what I'm talking about. I went to New York and I wanted to see a Broadway show, but everything was kind of sold out. So I went off Broadway and I saw this group called the Blue Man Group. This was long before they were now in their like Vegas and whatever. And it was a small theater, like 100 people. And it was that same sort of feeling that I feel that would explode somebody like Hans, where it's, you know, they're throwing toilet paper everywhere, there's paint everywhere, everybody's dancing, there's like lights everywhere, and you feel like you're part of like this really incredible experience, which was what happened.
Yeah.
That's what I feel like Hans is. He's that guy that is going to have everybody out of their seat and dancing and cheering and sparklers everywhere and everybody's covered in glitter and it's great music and lights. And then you leave there and you're like, man, I don't know what happened, but that was just like the greatest thing that ever happened to me.
Well, the thing
but not AGT.
No, the thing is, I got to think, okay, I'm taking off Hans. I've already said I'm putting in Danya in the place of Tyler. So who am I putting on in the place of Hans? It sounds like you're putting on Strauss Serpent.
I am.
I would probably put on Ryan. And I would probably put on Ryan just because I think he had a really funny set.
Yeah,
I didn't necessarily think it broke the mold for what I've seen from him in the past. It was kind of similar on those same lines. But the material was funny. I laughed about it. I loved the part about the two different snow caps. Like, there was a lot of just good little one-liners that he had sort of thrown in there. And I think Strauss Serpent is brilliant for what he's able to do and how he's able to move around the stage.
Yep.
I just feel like Ryan in the finale has a better chance of winning than Strauss Serpent does. And
well, I think any contortionists and a lot of danger acts always have a hard time of winning.
They do.
But they still deserve to be there, and I thought that Strauss did. Ryan was very funny tonight.
Yeah.
I thought he was great, but
yeah.
I always think he's great.
Yeah, and I mean, the other acts that we haven't really talked about, Duo Destiny, I think they were good. I think their problem was just they got completely outshone by Duo Transcend, who
they did.
I think, transcended, pun intended, everything that we've seen with these acts. And JJ, he's a fun kid. He's got a good sense of humor. I appreciate his enthusiasm, but
yeah, and it's fun to see someone that young be quite that biting with his comedy. So, like, and he's so cute while he's doing it, right? So I get the appeal of him, but then you I said this before, you put him up against Ryan and there's no contest for me.
Yeah, and if he had gone through and Ryan had not gone through, I would have been pretty upset about it.
This would be a very different video.
Yeah, I would be real, because Ryan's a professional comedian, and JJ's a kid. He's very good for a kid, but he's got a ways to go. But anyway, we'll wrap up this video, and let's hear from you guys. Who did you like the most on AGT The Champions tonight? And
Marcelino!
And if it's Marcelino, well, and if it's anybody, explain why. And if you did like this video, give us a like, subscribe, and you can support us more by checking that link in the description to the CARTERMATT store. And we'll see you here next time.